Even if we watched a million hours of enlightenment videos, it's always got the one message, and that is our software program is getting disturbed by its own judgments, not us. It's because we unconsciously and unknowingly assume this software program that lives within us to be us. We assume it to be our identity, that we also assume its disturbances to be our disturbances. Our consciousness is untouchable. It's never been touched. It never can be touched. And that's because it doesn't have any content to it. Our consciousness is the witness and the observer to content. It is the life and platform in which content can exist. And because our consciousness doesn't have content to it, that's why it is untouchable. It has never been touched and it never will be touched. And it's all the content in the software program which is bounded to whatever content goes into it. Our consciousness is unbounded. It's the opposite to that. Because it doesn't have any content, it doesn't have any reference points in which limit and bound us. So the enlightenment state is where you see the software program in you is just that. It's just a software program. It's a pseudo-identity which since birth we've mistaken as our identity. It took many years for this software program to be uploaded into us since birth. We didn't even have the language yet in order to compile and compose this software program identity. So it took many years first to learn language, and then using these words and ideas, we make composites and stories, and those stories then become the pseudo-identity. Our pseudo-identity comes online and offline throughout the day, so it's not even constant. It's obviously always getting upgraded like a mobile phone every week. So you can imagine your pseudo-identity when you were 2 years old, which was only probably like 1% upload or 2% upload. And then you got, by the time you get to about 7 to 9 years old, you can probably say it's got about 100% upload. But then it starts churning out more complex versions and of this identity. And it's also important to recognize that whether these stories are positive or negative, it really doesn't matter. They're still just stories. So that's what, self-development is good. At least you're becoming aware of stories. And then you can pick and choose. You can delete the disempowering stories and replace them with empowering stories to make you more sort of peaceful in life and more loving, accepting. But this is all good, at least you're learning about the content within us and you're playing games with it and adjusting it to represent what our normal, natural enlightenment state is. But the true freedom and liberation and returning back to our normal state of consciousness comes when we have a distinguishment and discernment between us and this software program and clearly see that it's not us. And this is what triggers the enlightenment process. When we identify with this software program, we also take on board 1,000,000 kilos of like a pressure and a resistance. So when the enlightenment process happens and complete and utter disidentification with the software process occurs, because it's seen as not you, then what's also disappears is that 1,000,000 kilos of pressure. And that's why the enlightenment process, through our perspective now, I've been in this software program, we look at the enlightenment state as nirvana, but it's absolutely nothing to do with nirvana whatsoever. It's normal. It may feel like nirvana to the pseudo identity, but it's yeah. When you experience enlightenment, you realize it's just a normal state. You lose 1,000,000 kilos, and yeah, all the things that come with that software program disappear, like all the never-ending comments, judgments that happen throughout the day. That all disappears. So there's no more talker and commenter when you're enlightened. You don't need that anymore. And obviously you become 1,000,000,000 times more intelligent because you're not bound by this software program identity and its beliefs of what can and can't be done anymore. All that disappears. So the consciousness is beliefless, you can say, because it doesn't need it anyway. And then what's left is the unlimited intelligence that it is. Our enlightenment state is also pure and unconditional love, and that's because there is no other, there is no individuals that are having a life. There's only one single consciousness in this realm, and it's the life giver of all of us. It's the and because there's only one single consciousness in this realm that is the life of all of us, there is only unconditional love. And because it doesn't have any content to it, it cannot be touched, it cannot be made into a victim, it cannot be lessened, become inadequate, it cannot be compared to because it has no content to it. So it's unimaginable in our state right now to imagine what enlightenment's like. Never in 1,000,000 years can it be imagined what enlightenment's like. And never in 1,000,000 years can our enlightenment imagine what it's like to be a software program, to be a bounded, limited, idea-based software program which comes online and offline throughout our day, is constantly being upgraded every week, and wasn't there when we were babies. It took many years to be uploaded. So the dissolvement to this software program is throughout the day, every day, learn to bring a distinguishment and discernment between us and it. Try to become more and more familiar each day that you are the witness, the observer of this content, that you are contentless, that you don't need content, and recognize all the non-validity of all this content. See its limitations every day. And as you do so, it starts to dissolve naturally on its own. It's ultimately the seeing of the non-validity of this software program and its uselessness, and seeing it's just an idea. You know, we get there's trillions and trillions of ideas, but not all of them we turn into our identity. There's trillions of negative ideas and trillions of positive ideas, but it's just natural, I guess you can say, for our consciousness to cherry pick these ideas and put them into a basket, and then look at that basket and call that basket, that's me. And then this basket starts talking every day. This should happen and this should happen. And that's the thing, that this basket of ideas, it's in a permanent resistance to what is, and the reason why is because that's how it asserts its identity, by being a somebody that's in the resistance to something out there. And that's how the structure, that's why it's the main foundation of, it's in a permanent resistance to what is the basket of identity. And that's how it forms its identity, through being, separate as well. In order to be in a permanent state of resistance to what is, that must mean you're separate. But the one consciousness is everything. It's the foundation of life. It is life. It's everywhere and everything, and we are that. Thank you everyone. Have a good day, night.